Hello and welcome to the Infoverse today. I'm the Infomancer speaking and I'm happy to have you here in the Infinite Realm. Today I'm going to be talking about a subject which is talked about a lot, but not in this concept. And what am I talking about? Well, it is something that has filled mankind's mind since ancient times, prehistoric even, and it is the undead. When I say the undead, some of you undoubtedly think of ghosts and spirits. Others of you may come up with vampires and ghouls as the first thing you picture, while others still will think of wraiths and even reapers. However, one that comes to mind for almost everybody almost immediately and has for a long time is zombies. How to prep for zombies or what you would do in a zombie apocalypse, but what might cause a zombie apocalypse? Just think about that for a minute. Now, some of you will probably say, well, we've already seen zombies and it was caused by bath salts. Therefore, drugs is obviously what's going to cause zombies. Others of you might say that, well, it is going to be government experimentation in labs with scientists that are going to create a zombie virus for God knows what awful reason. I mean, how would you even weaponize zombies? I can't believe I didn't even think of an answer that had already been provided for me. Here is another example of an attack using zombies. Trust me, it hurts more than any standard attack could. Just try reading or watching. But, going past that, there's other people who might just say, well, zombies aren't going to happen. It's not something to worry about. And then there's others like me who say, well, it's not going to happen in our lifetimes, probably. It could, I suppose. However, it's going to happen naturally. And I don't mean people are going to rise from the graves, not that kind of zombie. But it's going to happen naturally through evolution. And what's going to cause it is parasites. So what you are watching here is an infected cricket choosing to commit suicide. And it's not necessarily choosing, it's lost control of itself. And as you can see, here we will have a parasite beginning to crawl out of it. This parasite takes over the host's body and releases proteins into the brain which drive the cricket to commit suicide so that it can then release itself back into the water. Okay, so what it is that makes this worm so terrifying is the fact that it actually takes control of its host, essentially turning them into a zombie. And while this is a worm that usually infests only insects, there have been 2 cases of human contamination and human infection in Asia, and it is a cousin of a parasitic worm that does in fact infect humans. So it is possible through evolution and breeding, either through man's intervention or just through nature, that these worms could actually one day begin infecting humans and forcing us to drown ourselves and commit suicide. And perhaps if it became even more violent, it might force us to kill others. Just as you would expect a zombie to do. Now, the reason I say it's going to be parasites is, as you've just seen, we already have parasites that effectively make zombies out of their hosts. So it's not that big a stretch to say that a parasite could indeed take over the human brain, and in fact, this anime here touches on that. Okay, so here we have Higurashi no Naku Koro ni. I believe the English title is Higurashi, Those Who Cry, or When They Cry, something like that. And as you're going to see, it appears to be a really sweet show. However, as I'm sure you can figure out since it's in this video, it has something to do with what I've been talking about, which is zombies and parasites and whatnot. And I haven't seen this too much in American shows and TV, though to some extent I have. However, this is a great example of coming across parasites in an anime which take control of the people. And as you can see, at first they're all friends and everything's all good. However, things don't stay this way. And you'll see what I mean as this continues. And it's really crazy. All these people that you're seeing, at one point or another, they all go completely insane because of these parasites. They really affect their minds a lot. And the show even talks about this, and people just dismiss it. But it's a very real thing in this show, and could be a real thing in reality. And this is where it all goes bad. Now see, based off of what you saw a minute ago, did you expect this to happen? Now, these people don't really become zombies. As you can see, they're still humans, but they're very changed by what's happened here. And that isn't the only anime to touch on the idea of parasites. You also have it vaguely referenced in shows such as Hunter x Hunter, where the octopus dude, Ikalgo, where the octopus dude Ikalgo is a parasite of sorts. He's an octopus instead of a worm, that same sort of idea. And then also Parasite, of course, Parasite the Maxim is definitely along those lines. And it's not just limited to anime. You can see it in some American stuff such as this. Okay, so here we do have an example of an American show using parasites to cover zombies. However, it's not exactly zombies. The strain covers more, they're vampire creatures. They look more like zombies. However, they suck blood, and there's something in between. They get a weird tongue thing. You'd have to watch the series. But there's the worms that infect people, the parasites. And it's a creepy idea and a very real possibility. And right now I think people just look at it as kind of a joke or entertainment purposes. But this is something that could really happen, and something that people should be aware of. Everybody wants to talk about if zombies were real, they would do this, and they should prep for it and whatever. Well, this is how zombies are going to come into being if they ever really do happen. It's going to be a parasite, and so we should look at ways to deal with parasites more than just undead supernatural beings. And really, that shows that it's not a completely unthought of idea that parasites would create zombies or zombie-like creatures, turn people into zombie-like creatures. However, it's not really touched on a lot. Most people don't focus on it. But I think they should, because if you can determine how the zombies are born, how they're made, more than just if they bite you, you're infected and then you become one. If you can determine exactly what it is, if it's a parasite, it's going to have specific climate conditions that it can survive in. It's going to have certain ways that it can enter its host, and certain ways that it can't. And also it's going to have certain things that it's weak against, such as certain antibiotics or whatever. And if you know this, you can take steps to prevent people from getting infected and to cure infected people. And I think that this is something that should be looked into more, and something that should be brought into the light. Parasites are a scary thing, and they may lead to what we call zombies. Anyways, I hope that you guys found this video entertaining. I hope to see you guys here in the Infoverse again next time on whatever videos I decide to do. And until then...